This is Ilia Topuria taking on Max Holloway. He's gonna be taking on Charles Oliveira at lightweight. That's the hardest thing about fighting in mixed martial arts, is getting across. Now, the one thing that Ilia Topuria is very good is that he never leaves his shell. Heads here, hands out. He never leaves this. He doesn't overreact. He doesn't make subtle movements. Just watch this part. Don't focus on this, even though this is what's knocking people out. This is what's getting him closer so he can knock people out. Ilia Topuria is taking some shots right there. Shoots for a takedown. That's one thing that makes Ilia Topuria so damn dynamic. Yeah, he's like, ah, almost had you. All it takes is one shot, man. If he gets here with Charles Oliveira, he's gonna knock Charles Oliveira out. What is going on, boys? Welcome back to the channel. We have a banger void breakdown. This is Ilia Topuria taking on Max Holloway. Ilia Topuria's first title defense at the featherweight division. He is no longer the featherweight champion. He vacated his belt. He's gonna be taking on Charles Oliveira at lightweight, because Islam Makhachev is going up to welterweight to fight JDM. So we're gonna break this down. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and also hit the bell to know when we go live. So right, already off the bat, let's take a look at the stats, compare the two. I always talk about Max, 5'11", but he has a very, very short reach. He calls himself the T-Rex of the featherweight division. 32, 27. And the reach is almost identical, even though Max is taller. So let's break down this fight. I'm looking forward to the fight with Charles versus Ilia Topuria, because they both come forward. They both come forward and they just get after it. We're going to skip. Here we go. Okay. Now, the one thing that Ilia Topuria does very well is that he's very patient. He knows where he needs to get to in order to be effective and dangerous and let his hands go and land that power shot. What's going on, guys? This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. Now, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports game we play directly from your phone. It's very simple. All you gotta do is go to your app store, download Prize Picks. When you do that, use my promo code MIGHTY. Amazing promotion going on right now. All you gotta do is play $5, make your lineup, whatever you want to do, whether it's UFC, Power Slap, NHL, whatever they have going on, you're winning $50. And you guys know, UFC 317, Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira is right around the corner. So make sure you guys look at the event board, make your picks at the right place, which is Prize Picks. Now, shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. Let us get back down to the breakdown of Ilia Topuria. Here we go. Round one. And obviously, Ilia Topuria would love to have Max stand right here, because he can get to him, right? That's the hardest thing about fighting in mixed martial arts, or any sport actually, is getting across the void, getting to your opponent to where you can actually be effective. I was just in the UK. I spent some time with, 5 hours with Michael Venom Page, and he is a master of creating distance and closing that distance and knocking people out. So there you go, the Matador. All right, here we go. All right.
Get the early point down. Very smart by Max Holloway not to do that.
Now, the one thing that Ilia Topuria is very good is that he never leaves his shell. What I mean by his shell is that he's very patient. Heads here, hands out. He never leaves this. He doesn't overreact. He doesn't make subtle movements. He'll let it happen. He'll let stuff happen, but he will never leave the shell, because at any given point in time, if he leaves it, he's exposed and he can't counter with all his strength. So watch how he moves outside the void and how he slowly crosses it. He's slowly getting, and he fights his opponents with his feet. Right? What I mean by he fights opponents with his feet, watch how he moves his feet closer and closer to get to his opponent right here, right? So watch, he slowly watch his feet. Look at his feet. When you're watching this right here, just watch this part. Don't focus on this, even though this is what's knocking people out. This is what's getting him closer so he can knock people out. Let's just watch his feet a little bit. Just focus on his feet. Look at those feet. Those feet are always underneath him. Always in that shell. He'll eat that, trying to get closer. Where Max has to make a decision. Right, gets close. Max is always backing out of the void, going angle, going this way. Where Ilia is constantly trying to get there across the void to get to that spot where he's able to get off. It's going to be the exact same thing when he fights Charles Oliveira. Only difference is Charles goes here because Charles likes to clinch. Charles can shoot. You know, Max tends to stand and box when he fights. You never see him do double leg. You know, he can do it, but he loves to strike. Let's continue. Beautiful jab from Ilia. 1-2. But he's always running, walking across that void, trying to get there. Head movement, the XY. We talked about that before. 2-3. All right. And Ilia Topuria is taking some shots right there. Shoots for a takedown. That's one thing that makes Ilia Topuria so damn dynamic, is that he doesn't have to shoot, but he shot, got the takedown, wasn't able to do anything with the takedown, but he was able to secure the takedown, get two. If it was IBJJF going behind him, I wouldn't count that as another takedown because it's just the same sequence of the fight. All right, now Max runs. Ilia Topuria gets back on that stance. Walking, trying to get closer. Throws a leg kick. All right, and that's the hardest thing. Now, if Charles Oliveira fights Ilia Topuria like Max is, like being long, throwing the body kick, and making it hard for Ilia Topuria to get to him, I think the fight would be more interesting, because how will Ilia Topuria eventually get to Charles Oliveira? Beautiful right hand from Ilia. Nice left hook from Max. Constant movement outside the void. Constant movement. Always trying to keep Max guessing so he doesn't know when he's going to come in across that void. Beautiful right hand. Yep. And Ilia Topuria recently talked about this. He says when he's here, he says the problem you really don't see in mixed martial arts is here's the void. He will start off, you know, walking with the X and Y, XY, feints, and he'll start here to go 1, 2, and then once Max gets out, he follows behind his combination, and then he'll do 2, 3, 4, 6. He'll throw 4 punch combination. So the 1, 2 is to get across the void and get his opponent running. Then once he gets closer, he'll do 2, 3, 6 or 6, 3, 2, 5. 6, 3, 2 body shot, right? We'll see it at the very end of the fight. But right here, he's waiting. Jab. Leg kick. But one of the things I will say about Ilia Topuria, he's very flat-footed, and I think that's because he likes to plot across the void instead of being moving and you know, more rhythm, like kind of like how like a typical eye move. But I think that's why he's able to generate so much power, is because he's slowly, like, you look at his feet. I mean, he's flat-footed there, but he is off his heel there. But 90 times he's usually plotting, like right there, plotting. That back foot's up, ready to explode. There's their combination. There's that head movement, XY, moving. Still in the shell, slowly trying to get there. All right, and his hands, he never... Beautiful kick from Max. Beautiful kick from Max. Nice from Max. And this is what's going to happen. I just feel like Charles is going to come across that void and they're just going to be fighting the whole time. Max is doing a good job of being dynamic and not allowing Ilia Topuria to get to that spot where he's mostly effective. There. Nice jab. Jab to the... I think it was a slip. But this is also what makes him so damn dangerous. So damn good is look. Takes it back, puts the hook in. Already running the weight on this post right here. Boom. Getting heady on that post so Max just can't stand up all the way. I think it was a slip, but he was able to capitalize a little bit on the slip. Right. Controlling that. Try to get the other hook in. Right. But he knows that he's going to have to take some damage in order to get... Let's hear the corner.
All right, let's take a look.
Well, there's no translation, which is unfortunate because I would love to know what their corner is talking about. Beautiful right hand from Ilia Topuria as Max was coming in. It's a leg kick from Ilia Topuria. He's very dynamic in his switches. That was a slip. Right there. All right, here we go. Round two. Okay, here we go. Slowly trying to get there. Whoosh. Yep, he's constantly trying to get across that void. Constantly trying to get there. And like I said before, if Charles goes right into this and they're going to have this fight, he's going to make Ilia's job that much easier. But if Charles plays this game where he's making it hard for Ilia Topuria to get here, going angle, backwards, he's going to be able to frustrate Ilia, and it's going to take even longer for Ilia to get to the money spot. And that's where you can see he's slowly trying to get across there. There's an XY head movement. Blah, blah, blah. Nice. But see, that's... If Ilia Topuria wasn't mentally tough, I think he would have lost this fight. But him being mentally tough, like, okay, I'm going to get there. Take my time to get there. Take my time to get there. Take my time to get there. All he needs is the right combination and enough time to put his opponent away. But the thing is, he's just got to get himself there. Sometimes he gets there a lot faster. Sometimes he never gets there. But when he gets there, he always capitalizes very well. Right? He ate that kick in order to get a 1-2. Boom. And now you're starting to see him. He's going when Max goes. When Max starts going, that's when he's going. Because you realize when Max goes... Okay, watch. And look how close he gets. Good head movement. Yep. And he's constantly doing this too. He comes here at the edge of the void, comes inside and backs out. But when he backs out, he gets a little bit closer. The void gets here. Comes in, fades down, backs out. He's here, moving, constantly moving. And then when Max goes, he's going. That way, the distance in between them is shortened, right? He's allowing Max to help him close that void. Look how close he's getting. Saw that coming. Look, I'm gonna get closer. He went because Max went. Look, gets in there. Leg kick. Look at that movement. He went because Max went. Right hand again. And see, Max is fighting more. Max isn't been doing what he's doing. He's allowing Ilia Topuria to get closer. And when he gets closer, he's firing. And the Ilia Topuria is firing too. And as Max backs out of this, Ilia Topuria gets in a little more distance. He gets closer and closer. We're just going to force Max to run away. Once again, this is where I always say it's better, even if you don't want to wrestle, it's better to force the clinch, force the shot, because it changes dynamic to where if this person is constantly trying to run and avoid and not imposing his will on his opponent, 9 to 10 times, majority of the time, this gentleman has been winning from the previous fights I've been breaking down. So just keep that in, food for thought, right? He's constantly trying to get angle. Beautiful left hook from Max. Look, he's getting closer. Max is staying there. Right. So once again, I talked about this before, but we get a good view of Topuria's head when he behind it. Nice head movement. You're right here. So when Topuria gets the edge of the void, right where Max can hit him, XY. I've done this before. The head's here. It starts going here. It starts going here. It goes down. It's constantly moving around in this area. And he also uses his feints. With those three things he's doing with the feints and going to the body and the leg kicks, Max having a hard time to decide when he's coming in or when Max should go. Where Ilia Topuria, when he sees Max come, Ilia Topuria goes, he shortens the distance of the void, and he's able to throw out a two-piece combination. Max typically backs out of the combination, out of the void, and when he does that, that's when Ilia Topuria tries to do a 3-more-piece chicken meal combination. But that's, Daniel Cormier just said that, but I want to give you guys more of the description of what he's doing with this whole head movement. That's why it's so hard to catch him, and you don't know if he's going to come in or not. Right, there it is. You slip. Okay. Nice body shot. Good job on Max. And this movement from Ilia Topuria is very, it's very sustainable. Meaning that he's not moving much. It's very, it's very low cost affecting energy wise. Then when he does go, that's where he outputs all his energy. Like this is shadow boxing right here. This is all shadow boxing. Right. Shadow boxing, conserving energy. Beautiful right hand from Max. There's that movement. Trying to get closer, trying to get closer. Slips. Let's take no damage from those 3 shots. So judge up 1-1-2. Oof. Nice leg kick. Yeah. 115 to to 50. So he's land 50 shots. So he's trying to be very conservative, where Max is at 35%. But both these numbers are pretty damn good. All right, nice coming over the top from Max's jab. And I'll also be curious to see if his speed will be there too at 155 instead of 170. And I feel like he kind of took this round off. Like I feel like he knew he lost this round maybe, and he's just chilling, trying to, you know, it's frustrating. Like he can't get where he wants to get because Max is doing a good job of not allowing him to get there. Look. Let's see.
Breathe. There you go.
If I had to guess, they're going to say, keep doing the same thing. He's having a hard time getting to you. Keep moving in angles. Don't let him get to that sweet spot. Keep mixing it up, and you're doing great, Max. Let's see what they say.
Woo! Deep breaths, my friend. Deep breaths. See, when he's standing tall, he loads the back leg. He's fighting short. Yeah. He'll stand up tall to make him seem shorter. Yeah. So just watch the range. Hey. Sprints. When you go first, he sprints hard second.
Yep.
I need you to draw back with him. You don't have to throw it away. I need you to draw back with him so you feel some pressure. And he may do it again, okay? You just can't be lazy with that jab. They're going to come right over, okay? You need to keep sucking in, sucking back,
So what he was basically saying is that he's sprinting after you go. So once Max goes jab and pulls out, Ilia Topuria is going. Remember how we said that Ilia Topuria is trying to use, you know, Max coming across the void to help him get across a lot safer? That's what his coach was saying. It was like, when you go, he's sprinting, so you can't be lazy. This is a perfect time when you jab, you know he's coming, go underneath for the shot. You know, Cody, if he sprawls, etc.
Big left hand here by
See, I would like to see, like, for me, I've competed before. I would like to see, instead of hearing like DC or the commentators talk about what happened, I know what happened, I want to hear more of the commentating. So it'll be kind of cool if ESPN allowed, like, hey, you know, you could pick this one where it's going to be, you know, the commentating, you know, between the rounds, or would you prefer to keep the camera on the cornerman to see what's going on and what they're talking about and how they're game planning? I'd rather have that than hearing like, oh, here's Ilia Topuria landing this, or just because for me, I want to know, this is what I'm seeing. I want to know what the corner's seeing and what they relate to the athlete. There we go. This is the death round. But once again, Ilia Topuria knows he's got to get to the right spot. If Ilia Topuria can't get to his spot, he's not as effective, which is kind of with anybody in mixed martial arts, right? But once again, there he is, slowly getting there. Jumping that leg. Max is trying to keep him at bay. Angles, good job. And you think about this. It's been 30 seconds almost in the third round. Ilia Topuria has not thrown one punch yet because he's trying to get these right here so he can start throwing. Because he knows once he throws, Max is going to run or they're going to collide and it's not going to be a good exchange for him. So he's slowly waiting to get to that point. That's why I enjoy watching her fight, because he's just trying to get here. He's just trying to get there. I was starting going to that body with that 3. Yeah, and he's like, ah, almost had you. And here's the thing too. If Ilia Topuria could not take a shot, if he had a weak chin, he cannot implement. It'll be a lot harder, for him to implement this same style. This is almost kind of like what Ratang does in Muay Thai. He's walked across the void, he gets hit, and he hits his opponent. Granted, Ilia Topuria is, you know, minimizing when he's getting hit because he's slipping, he's ducking and dodging and moving. But it's essentially the same thing, but more of a cleaner version of it. Let's continue. He's getting closer. Hasn't thrown a punch yet. Block, block, block. Walks back to the edge of the void. Starts moving X and Y. Gets hit with that jab, but he throws a leg kick. Shows. Gets hit a couple times there. Hook. Beautiful right hand from Max. But each time Max goes, notice what he's been doing for 3 rounds. He goes, backs out. Goes, backs out. Goes, backs out. There's no go, double leg, clinch, angle off, right hand. Because obviously Ilia Topuria is doing his thing, you know, backing up. But there's no, it's always backing out, where Ilia Topuria can just walk forward. Max has to do this for 5 rounds straight, where Ilia Topuria just needs to get here and have a beautiful 30 seconds. Beautiful 30 seconds where he can put it together a combination. Look how close he got there. Slip, got closer. All it takes is one fucking shot, man. Lands that right hand. Then he look, runs immediately to the void where he's going to start firing. And the shot he throws, this fucking nasty fucking body shot, mate. Like the last time I saw someone who has clean combinations is probably Conor McGregor, to be honest with you. Bop, 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 bop. Look, unloads, walks. He was walking back there. Another right hand. Boom. This is where he wants to get, where his opponents exchange with him and he can get here. If he gets here with Charles Oliveira, he's going to knock Charles Oliveira out. Charles has been dropped many, many times in his career, and he's allowed to get back up and go again. If Ilia Topuria drops him, Ilia Topuria is going to follow him on the ground, pass his guard, and probably submit him or knock him out. Here. Bop. Boo. And lands it. Comes and finishes. It's Ilia Topuria is very, very hard to fight if you don't want to have that firefight, because the whole time you cannot allow him to get to that spot, because if he gets to that spot, you might not be able to withstand the power. Same thing for Alex Volkanovski. He was running the whole entire time. He got caught, gets dropped. Let's see, they show the replay. Okay, right here. Okay, show him respect. Gotta love respect. Okay, they start with the right hand. He lands. Left hook. Right hand. Boom. Lands that. Once again, Max is always going back. Okay, and then he realized that landed. They're exchanging. But once again, it's always he's always backing up instead of going forward when he's throwing that clinch. And fuck, beautiful left hook from Ilia Topuria. Heads there, arms down. His arms right there. Spine, shoulders. Beautiful left hook from Ilia Topuria. Beautiful. Because he's always going forward when he fights. Always going forward. And that can make the biggest difference when you start exchanging with somebody, is that the person who's backing out of the void and I'm still going forward and I'm fucking in my stance right here. Boom, boom. He's backing out. Watch. He's going to be backing out. Boom. That comes. Because this one is Ilia Topuria is still going forward. Which it will be interesting, because I would say Charles Oliveira is more dynamic than Max Holloway, meaning that you see Charles Oliveira, he has the most submission victory wins in the UFC. You know, he's knocked people out. He submitted them. Max has 2, but Max tends to stay on his feet when he fights, where Charles will go everywhere in the fight to get the job done. So boys, if you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, subscribe, and also hit the bell to normally go live.